This is Netsu here, and today we're going to do a new life, because why the hell not? And this is what if Deku was like the daredevil. Well, technically was the daredevil. But I'm going to make Deku's version of daredevil better. Because first, yeah, he's going to have 6 instead of him being 9. When he becomes blind, I'm going to have him be 6 when he becomes blind. So he has more years of being blind than having sight. So yeah. And also, he's going to have perfect memory, like the Taskmaster. And it's going to be and pretty much, at the age of 4, he's going to be as smart as Tony. And pretty much when he made his first suit. Basically, that's how smart he's going to be at the age of 4 for Deku. And yeah. And Deku's going to have this type of look. Hold on, let me give you a better look at it. There you go. That's a better look at it. That's what he's going to look like. Now we start off when, well, actually, yeah. We start off when he can start talking and walking. And that's, yeah, we're just going to start off from there. And yeah, at that moment, he's as smart as I'm going to say 2-year-old. So yeah, and at that moment, and I'm going to say the first movie, and Hisashi, pretty much just gonna leave the family. And the only thing he's gonna help them with is their money. That's it. That's the only thing he's gonna help them with. Pretty much that overseas thing, yeah, that still happens, but in a different way. He's like, yeah, I'm just gonna give you some money. That's it. So yeah, he's not gonna be that great of a dad. And yeah. Basically, the first movie he sees with Inko is a action movie. And he sees the martial arts in it. And he just pretty much goes like, when he gets home, a day later, he remembers the next day, he remembers every single bit of it. So he's like, I'm gonna try something out. And he pretty much, I'm gonna say they have a computer at this point. And Izuku pretty much gets onto the computer and searches up basically all the martial arts that the daredevil has in his arsenal for martial arts. And he pretty much searched every single one of those, all the way from noob to master for each one. So yeah, he's pretty much a master at it. Once you start actually doing them, he'll be a master at it. Yeah. The moment he goes, yeah, after he's watched all the way from new to master for each martial art, he's pretty much gonna do from new all the way up to master level martial arts for each one. So yeah, I don't know all the martial arts he has in his the daredevil has under his belt, but yeah. Oh, and by the age of 4, he is pretty much as smart as Tony at pretty much the first movie. That's how smart he is by now, because he's also watched stuff about pretty much, since he wants to become a hero, but he doesn't idolize All Might the most. He tries to find anything on people that have pure skill with a quirk that is close to useless, but they can also use their skills as well. And the only person he ever finds like that is Shoto Aizawa. But there's pretty much close to none information on him. So yeah, he pretty much idolizes Aizawa more because one, there's barely any information on him, which means people are gonna have a disadvantage. Two, he uses mostly skill. Yeah, that's only two reasons. Yeah, oh wait, I'm gonna do this once. Yeah. When he gets to now, yeah, he's also gonna pretty much keep watching videos onto mechanics and science, all the way up to mastery. Pretty much, I guess so. He's pretty much pretty much the best person in the world for mechanics and science. So yeah, and he also picks up videos onto how to make outfits because he also wants to become a hero, one that basically uses skills alone. And when they get to the Quirk Doctor and the doctor tells him that he's Quirkless, it's like, oh well. And yeah, he's not broken up, pretty much not his mind. Yeah, that thing that Izuku did in canon, yeah, that ain't gonna happen. He's like, alright, that gives me a better advantage against people then. He just thinks that in his mind. And yeah, to them, they just see him standing out in a stone face. And Inko just touches him, and he just looks up to him and goes like, yes? Yeah, he doesn't have a single thing of All Might. Yeah, he doesn't idolize All Might at all. The only thing he sees him as is the number one hero, that's it. He sees Aizawa's Shoto or Eraserhead as the better hero. And he literally tried to find any thing that he could, pretty much any, like, stuff that would have Aizawa on it, like posters of action figures. That's the only things you would try to find. Oh, I'm also gonna say this. He basically also did this. He picked up he pretty much looked at drawing videos as well. So if he ever saw Aizawa just once, he could pretty much draw a poster of him. And that would be it. And we skip to and his outfit's gonna be way better than Daredevil's. In two ways once he finally makes it. Now he could skip to when he's 6. And his and he's also looked at videos about increasing your strength and speed in your he has done that. Pretty much looked at videos with that as well. Pretty much he went from noob person that's just starting it to lift the weights or increase your speed to a pro at it. And so yeah, at the age of 6, he has a 2 times he has way less muscles than he had in canon when he did that 10 months between that at the end of that 10 months training thing. And I'm gonna say this. Yeah, basically the same thing happens, but this old man pretty much doesn't know anything about what that one old man in that show did. Pretty much, when Izuku saw that, well, yeah, okay, wait, I'm gonna flashback a little bit to when he was still 4, and when he pretty much got to school, and pretty much the people that asked him what his quirk was asked, he just pretty much said on Quirk list. And Bakugo just pretty much started bullying him. And yeah, it's not gonna face him one bit. Because the moment at first he was friends with Bakugo. And he kind of called him Kachan for a while. But basically a year later after Bakugo started bullying him, he started calling him Kachan. Yeah, he pretty much forced himself to get out of that habit of calling him Kachan. So yeah. Now he just sees Bakugo as a person that just thinks people that are without quirks are useless, which he has no idea what he's talking about. Yeah, Bakugo basically knows nothing about the real world. And yeah, and also this. Deku's pretty much searched up everything about the real world. Crimes, wars, deaths, everything. As much as he could. And that was from when he was 4 to when he was 6. So he got pretty much, starting from 4 years old to 6, he got 3 years, I think. Or maybe 2 years. I'm just gonna say 3 years. So yeah. And when he was 6, basically an old man that pretty much is not like Sticks from that show was crossing the road. And yeah, Deku just pretty much sprung to action and pushed him out of the way. And that chemical things happen. The chemical happens. That chemical scene from the Daredevil show happens. And the one that actually see what happens is pretty much goes to see what happened to Deku is Inko, because Inko was there with her. They were pretty much just walking back from a store. So yeah, Inko was like, baby, are you okay? He's like, yeah, Deku was calm enough to not do what the Daredevil in the show did. He just went like, I can't see. I can't see. And Inko just pretty much cried, and then we skipped to a week later of that. And yeah, Deku figured out that he had increased his other senses other than his sight has pretty much increased. And I'm gonna say this. Yeah, pretty much his eyes. Yeah, he can't see out of his eyes at all. Not even that fiery thing that the Daredevil can see in the show. It's like complete black through his eyes. And basically, using his memories, he just asked his mother if they could go to a store with materials. And she's like, sure, honey. But why? He's like, I want to make a stick. And she's like, oh, okay. And they go to a store for materials. And they pretty much get the strongest material. Well, yeah. They get this materials that they can buy. And I'm gonna say, Deku was still able to make that walking stick that the Daredevil uses. Which can become a baton. And I'm gonna say, a month later, wait no, and like a day later, he figures out that his hearing is, like his hearing and smell is heightened to like 100 times better than a blind person. And he goes like, and he goes like, oh, And yeah. Okay, yeah. When at least, yeah. A month later, Deku was got used to his new senses, and he was able to perfectly do it now. For before that month was over, he after at the first week he wasn't able to pretty much do anything, but a week later is basically throughout the weeks he'll gradually get used to his senses. So yeah, and he is quirkless, if I forgot to mention that. And he doesn't have baby face, so don't think he does. So yeah. Oh, and when we finally his suit is nothing like even close to what All Might's what his original would look like. He pretty much has a suit that he pretty much made this type of suit, but right after he got blind, he pretty much added some changes to it to, like, if he wanted to decrease like his hair, like the costume. Yeah, pretty much changed it a little bit to where this pretty much he could make it so it could decrease his hearing. Pretty much, yeah, it would pretty much, if he wanted to, he could decrease it to a small amount. Pretty much decrease it to how a normal person's hearing would be. So, yeah, it would pretty much have a device to. Okay, yeah. When he gets into the heroes school, which he will get into, he will be able to, and yeah, he basically write down hearing adjustment device, like on the sides of the helmet of the drawing. So yeah, and we get to, and yeah, and after that month, you pretty much walk through the city no problem. He remembers every path he's ever taken. So yeah. If you want to go down yeah, I'm just gonna say this. Before he became 6, pretty much his mother and him went down every single street in that city. So he'll have perfect memory of everything. So he'll know whichever street takes him to and which way where he would have to go for it. And he has seen the location of UA, so he would also know where that is. Anyway. Oh, and Uncle has told the school that her son has became blind. And yeah. Don't also pulling him for that, but it doesn't affect him either. And yeah. They gave him a month off. So yeah, that month he was adjusting to his new situation. When he went back to school, he was perfectly able to go through the school easily. It was like he did have his sight, but yeah, it's completely black for his eyesight. So yeah, and we skip to the beginning of the anime, and he has his muscle. He's basically has his muscles from the beginning of. Wait, no, he has twice as much muscle that as the Izuku that got one for all. And no, he will not get one for all. Oh wait, and I say this. When he was 10. No wait, no. When he was 5. Inko and him were walking home in the night. And they pretty much almost got mugged. But Aizawa showed Eraserhead stopped it. And Izuku's like, yeah. In his mind, he's like, yes. And yeah, only Inko knows he has these such abilities, like the perfect memory. And he wanted to wait 2 years before he would make his poster of Aizawa. And yeah, when he became 7, he finally made it. But he's gonna make it so the art can also be pretty much be felt by blind people. So yeah, you'll be able to feel it and see all the design of it. And while he's doing it, he's gonna ask his mom to. Well, actually, no. Oh, I'm just gonna say this. Since he has the perfect memory of what Anzo looks like, I'm gonna say this. Aizawa pretty much did the kneecap thing that he did to Dobby in the anime. He pretty much did that to that thug. And yeah, that's how Zuko's gonna see it. In 107, he made that exact thing. So just imagine Aizawa doing that thing but to a thug. And he pretty much made that exact thing. Oh, and Inko pretty much and Suku asks. Wait, no. Oh, and I'm gonna say this. There were some materials left over there were some materials left. And he asks and this is when he's 10. No, this is when he's 8. And he's asked his mom to come into his room, which I'm gonna say he has the computer in his room now. She's like, yes, honey. He's like, can you search up how to build a Bluetooth? Those Bluetooths that go into your ear? Yeah, he's talking about that one. And she's like, sure, honey. And then she does it, and he listens to it. Because, yeah, this one is for deaf people. To tell you how you do it. And yeah, this works for him. Now, we skip to a week later, and he's made it. And it's a perfect, and it's the state of the art. It's like pretty much, it's the best version of a Bluetooth. Pretty much those ear Bluetooth things. Yeah, so pretty much made the best, he pretty much made it the best way he could. And yeah, he wears it. He pretty much has that everywhere he goes. Like when he's in school, he'll have it in his pocket. Like when he's out about, he'll put it on. Pretty much when he's not with his mother, he'll put it on his ear. So yeah, now we see it to when he's 14. And he's pretty much walking towards the school. And he has the pretty much has the his walking stick shrink to a baton, and it's in his bag. And yeah, right, it's and yeah, he basically makes it so he can't. Yeah, by the time he's 14, he can't. He'll only bump into someone if he does it on purpose, not by accident. So, like, if someone tried to bump into him, he would just evade. So, yeah. Now, yeah, he doesn't. He listens to the battle that happened. Actually, he just walks over there and listens to the battle. And yeah, he has a notebook like Heroes, but he basically. Oh, and when he was. Also, when he was 10. Oh, when he was 10, he basically pretty much asked his mom to go onto YouTube. Well, pretty much find videos on how to write on a paper and pencil and read what you write as a blind person, and so he could do that. So he was able to do that now. And yeah, basically that guy that was talking to him in the beginning, just be like, oh yeah, I'm just gonna say this. He does not wear glasses because he just thinks it's not needed. Basically, he just looks like a regular person. And yeah, he can also hear the heartbeats of people. He can pretty much hear every single thing. Yeah, but yeah, he's done that. And yeah, the guy thinks that he's just a normal kid. And Drake just pretty much says the same thing, but actually no, it doesn't say the same thing. He just goes like, he just asks the guy, why you doing that? And he's like, well, I'm doing this just in case I would run into someone with the same type of quirk. Because he pretty much says that it's not uncommon for someone to get the same exact quirk and possibly become a villain. Or possibly be a thug or something like that. And it's like, you're like, okay, that's a good idea. And yeah, then we get to Izuku when he gets to school. And yeah, pretty much goes pretty much the same. But yeah, Deku has his. Wait, no. Yeah, Scratch Rice said about the Bluetooth being in his pocket when he's in school. It's in his book bag. Like, where no one can find it. And he only has his hero notes out when he's outside of school. So yeah, Bakugo's still trying to bully him, but it's barely doing anything. Yeah, Bakugo's just being pretty much gets irritated by how he calls him Deku. Yeah, he still give him that nickname. And yeah, when when the teacher does that thing, Deku just pretty much got his baton. No, he just before the teacher could throw up his papers, Deku just sorry about background noise, and yeah, when the teacher went into the room, and when he started talking about the things, Deku just started walking up to him. And when he, well, actually, no, Deku, when he heard the teacher go, like, I know all of you want to be heroes, but right before he threw up the papers, the teacher could automatically hear Deku's hand go straight up. And he was like, yes, Midori? I was like, could you please not throw out those papers? It would be it would be a hassle for you to do that. And you're like, yeah, sure. And yeah, there was only one person in that class that, well, yeah, I'm gonna say this. Oh wait, I forgot to mention this. When he was 4, actually no, when he was 5, we're gonna flashback a little bit. And he was protecting a girl. And this girl had pink skin and yellow horns. If you guys know who this is, good job on you. And yeah, Bakugo was just bullying her because of her mutation, and Tiger just rushes behind Bakugo and socks him in the head and goes like, "You." And this is when he stopped calling him Kanchan. It's like, "You stupid Bakugo. When are you gonna learn not to bully people?" No, he's like, "Really, Bakugo? Bullying someone because of a mutation? That's just dumb." And yeah, Bakugo got pretty much got his head basically made it so he would move it a little bit. Was his pretty much made his upper half of his body tilt over a little bit. And yeah, Bakugo just went like, "Why you?" And yeah, this is when Deku wasn't blind yet. And Deku's like, "What you gonna do?" And Bakugo pretty much throws an explosion at him. It's like, and he pretty much drops it. And yeah, Bakugo didn't hear him call Bakugo. Pretty much he just heard the rest of the sentence, not Bakugo. And then this time he'll hear it. And it's like, "Really, Bakugo? Is that the best you can do?" And what happened to Kanchan? It's like, "You don't deserve that." And he pretty much beat up Bakugo and his goons. And they pretty much... And Bakugo was bleeding a little bit. Pretty much all 3 of them were bleeding a little bit. But the goons were bleeding more than Bakugo. So yeah, and Bakugo, they pretty much all ran. And he just turned around and goes like, "Are you okay?" It's like, she's like, "Yeah, yes." And it's like, "Here." And she got onto his hand and he pulls her out. And it's like, So, what's your name? It's like, Mina? Ashiro? No, no. I forgot her last name, so I'm just gonna say Mina. It's like, she's like, Mina? It's like, my name is Izuku Midoriya. He's like a he's pretty much a gentleman. And he's not cocky at all. Not one bit. He's not a cocky boy. And he's not selfish. He has selflessness. He does not feel He pretty much doesn't ask for anything. Or does he think that he's better than anyone? He's just a gentleman that pretty much thinks everybody can be. If people didn't have quirks, they would all be equals. So yeah, and yeah, now we get back to when he was 14, and yeah, Baguio, and now we get to the end of the day for school, and Baguio tries to do the same thing, but this was just regular notes for a school for Deku. And when Baguio tried to do it, Deku just pretty much tilts, pretty much got his book fast and tilted a little bit just enough for Baguio to miss. And then while he was tilting, he put it in his book bag and put his book bag on his back. And then while he was doing that, he pretty much angled himself towards the window. And Baguio just went like, "Why you, Deku?" And it's like, "See ya, Baguio Kotsky." And he opens the window and pretty much does a backflip and lands. I'm gonna say, Mina is the next school over from Deku school. And after that day, they started meeting up. And they're pretty much close friends. So yeah. And on the day he became blind, she wanted to do anything to help him out. And they pretty much became closer after that day. So yeah. And they pretty much meet at a spot between their schools and walk together. And I'm gonna say this: their houses are only 5 blocks away from each other. No, 10 blocks away from each other, because that makes more sense. And yeah, and he pretty much landed with his body straight. Pretty much when he landed perfectly. So yeah, and then Deku just started walking away. And Bugs are just like pretty much grumbling and just being like, "Stupid Deku." And yeah, I don't know why he didn't actually see reality as it is. So yeah, I'm still gonna have him like that. And then Deku walked to that spot where Mina meets up with him. And then he sees Mina a little bit earlier. It's like, "Oh, Mina." It's like, "Oh, Izuku, what are you doing here early?" He's like, "Let's go." Got out a little bit earlier than yours, I guess. And it's like, "Maybe." It's like, "So," and she's like, "So, same thing happened today?" He's like, "Yeah, same thing." Bakugo being an idiot and bully. It's like, yeah. I wonder when he's ever gonna learn. It's like, who's me? And they start walking toward their houses together. I'm gonna say Deku's house is closer. Well, yeah, both of their houses pretty much, I'm gonna say this. They're a little bit closer to Deku's house than hers. And while he was walking, he put the earpiece on again. The ear Bluetooth on again. And he pretty much heard the Bluetooth going off. And he pushed the call button and he's like, hello? He's like, Izuku. He's like, oh. And he's like, oh, your mom's calling? He's like, yeah. Doing right? He's like, yeah, Mom? It's like, I'm going out for I'm making dinner. What? I'm about to make dinner. Where are you at? It's like, surprise me. It's like, okay, Izuku. It's like, you're walking out with your friend again? It's like, yeah. And, Inko has been introduced to Mina. And I'm gonna say this. They go, and Inko's like, okay, I'll see you when you get home. It's like, alright, bye. And she's like, bye. Yeah. Then he hangs up and goes like, alright, so when we're talking about then, we skip to when they go under the bridge. Dum dum dum. Now, the Sludge villain attacks, this time going for Mina. And Deku's like, when he heard it, he's like, nope. And when he went for Mina, Deku just pretty much rammed her. No, pretty much pushed him out of the way and goes like, no. And he pretty much gets caught by the Sludge villain. And Sludge villain being like, it's not too bad I want, but it's good enough. And since Mina's quirk is acid, I'm pretty sure it would affect the Sludge villain. And after 1 second, she throws acid at it. It's like, ugh. And it hurts him a skeleton. Yes, I make a joke. Anyway, and after that, I'm gonna say, might appear a minute later, and she's still spraying acid. And he goes like, Detroit, and All Might. Then a minute later, All Might's like, we're not for I am here. And he goes like, Detroit, and there's like, oh no. He pretty much grabs his walking stick, which is a baton right now, from his bag, and pretty much turns it into a walking stick. And he just, when he pulls it out, she knows to pull it, and it pretty much pulls him out of there. And he pretty much immediately puts it back in there and pretty much shields her from pretty much the Detroit Smash. And he goes like, Detroit Smash. And right before he could throw it, Deku got the Sludge and was protecting Mina. So yeah, and then this whole really got splattered all over the wall. And yeah, Izuku was only moved a little, like 2 meters away by just only sliding. And Mina was almost blown away, but if it wasn't for Deku holding on to her. And Deku just pretty much yelled, hey, watch where you're throwing that. You would have hurt someone worse. And All Might's like, just pretty much like, he's pretty much like, is it? Yeah, he's right. He's like, And yeah, Mina kind of ran girl too, alright, but not that much. So when Deku heard it again, he's like, oh, and yeah, Deku heard it again, heard the voice again. It's like pretty much saying that Mina shouldn't use her quirk to isn't allowed to use her quirk. And Deku's like, And Deku's like, and Deku just turned around and goes like, even if it's to defend someone. And all my like, you have a point there, young man. It's like, and pretty much, Deku's like, so, in All Might sees that he doesn't, I'm gonna say All Might doesn't have a bottle. It's like, All Might, you're somewhat unprepared. And he tosses him a like box that he has made. He pretty much tosses it towards his direction. And All Might captures it, and All Might's just like, "What's this, young man?" And it's like, "It's a box I created to contain things. It should be helpful for you. It should help you contain the sludge villain. And don't worry, it can even contain liquids, which sludge is." And All Might's like, "He's pretty smart." And then, yeah, All Might doesn't. "Do you want an autograph, young man?" And it's like, "No." And Deku's like, "I don't know about her though." And he points directly at me, and he goes like, "I would like an autograph." Like, All Might goes like, "Don't worry then." And he gets her an autograph. And All Might just asks, "Why do you not want an autograph from me, the number one hero?" It's like, simple. You don't have skills. You just have pure strength. And All Might's like, oh. And his fight is a little bit broken. Yeah. And pretty much this box cannot be opened by just kicking it. Or the only way you can open this is by a button. So yeah. And this box is see-through. Pretty much looks the way it looks like a square shaped bottle, but it's a box with a button. So yeah, and then Deku and Mina just go away. Well, first All Might picks up the Sludge and he jumps away. And Deku and Mina go like, and Deku's like, that was something. And it's like, I know, right? It's like, and Mina goes like, so why you gonna, oh wait, I'm gonna flashback a little bit into when the teacher told someone about the two. He says, "Oh, two students want to go to UA," and Bakugo's like, "What?" And it's like, "Yeah, Bakugo Koski," and it's like, yeah, Bakugo just pretty much builds himself, and then he says Izuku Midoriya, and it's like, "What?" It's like, and Dagger's like, "You got a problem with that? Does anyone have a problem with that?" And after, pretty much when he became 9, only Bakugo was pretty much only Bakugo and his goons were the only ones bullying him now. But everyone else just ignored him. So yeah, and pretty much everyone but Bakugo and his goons would be like, yeah, we have pretty much everyone except Bakugo and his goons would be like, we don't have a problem with that. And Deku's like, good. And yeah, that's the end of the flashback because yeah, you know what Bakugo and his goons would be like. And Deku then you know then Mina asks while they're walking, is like, so what you do during the 10 months before the entrance exam? It's like, simple. I'm gonna increase my body mass, my strength and speed. It's like, okay. And yeah, and he asks, what are you gonna do? It's like, I think I'm gonna do more on my. I think I'm gonna work on my quirk. And it's like, you could do your. Mina, I think you should work on your strength and speed as well. It's like, what do you think, Izuku? It's like, well, imagine if. It's like, well, imagine this scenario. If someone with if a villain or thug with a quirk that could cancel yours, had a lot of skill, what would you have? What would you do then? He's like, oh, I guess you're right, Izuku. It's like, yeah. I think I know of a place. I think it's called Daredevil Beach. Like, oh. It's like, yeah. You want to head there tomorrow to do some workout? And it's like, sure. It's like, yeah. We could also, since I think there's a lot of charts there as well, we could also work on your Astro Clock as well. It's like, yeah. It's like, yeah. Oh, see you tomorrow. It's like, see ya. And yeah, that scene with Bakugo getting caught by the sludge villain, that doesn't happen. Now we skip to the next day, and pretty much Mina and Deku go to just meet each other, but Mina meets Izuku at his house, and they go to Inko goes, so Izuku, what are you doing? He's like, I'm and he goes, but wait, yeah. Ever since he was, yeah, ever since he was 4, pretty much they've been at, well, actually, yeah, ever since he was 3, they were pretty much on a, pretty much vegetable and pretty much vegetarian. They pretty much went from meat and vegetables to just plant vegetables and plants. So yeah, Inko's in her pretty much what she was when Izuku was 4 in canon. She's pretty much at that point, and she's like, "Where are you heading, Izuku?" It's like, me and Mina are heading to the region. It's like, oh, are you doing what I think you're doing? It's like, yeah. It's like, well, be careful. It's like, I'll try. And then they head to Baker Beach. And yeah, when they get there, Mina's like, holy Kamo, holy cheat, holy all might. And it's like, what is it? It's like, I'm gonna say, I don't know how big how much there is, but yeah, it's like, there's like, the whole beach is covered in trash. It's like, oh, that means we can do more work. That means we can. That means we have more stuff to do during these 10 months. It's like, yeah. It's like, also, Yeah, I think we're gonna work mostly on your strength and speed. And it's like, oh, like, yeah. And this is gonna be mostly for you. Like, oh, oh shit. It's like, yeah, I'll do a little bit of it, but most of it was, it's gonna be for you so you can increase your strength and speed. It's like, well, shit. It's like, yeah, this is probably gonna be hard for you. It's like, yeah. And now, we just get 10 months later. And yeah, Taku has a little bit more muscles, but Mina, she has Izuku's muscles in canon. She has those muscles. It's like, and Izuku's like, she goes, and Deku just, before at the time of the end of the 10 months, when she's finished with the, finished cleaning up the trash, he's like, he just goes like, what does your muscles, what does your body look like now? It's like, it looks like I have I think, six pack. It's like, and a pretty strong arms and legs. And it's like, yeah, we did good. And yeah, Deku just said that. Izuku just said that. And yeah, then we go to the entrance exams. And Deku does not trip. Yeah, Mina and Deku just walk together to the school. And they're pretty much just talking to each other. And when he gets to the entrance of the UA building, he just pretty much has his baton. He registered his walking stick as also as a baton, and and he puts his. I'm just gonna say this. He registered a baton, which is his walking stick as well. And yeah, he technically is quirkless, and the world's gonna also see him as quirkless. So he's gonna have a real advantage because no one's gonna know his talents. Okay, now we get to when everybody sees Izuku, yeah, Mina and Izuku just walk through the entrance, talking to each other. And yeah, Mia is about to fall down, but Deku like, just pretty much grabs her by the shoulder and goes like, because when she was about, pretty much she trips and is about to, and starts falling, but Deku just grabs her shoulder and I was like, you alright, Mina? It's like, yeah. And he pulls her back up and goes like, and when he hears pretty much the back of her feet land, pretty much get onto the floor, onto the ground, the back of her feet, he lets go of her shoulder and goes like, you good? It's like, yeah. It's like, alright, let's continue. And they get into the building. And they do that practical test. And yeah, I'm gonna say this once. I'm just gonna say this. Izuku and Mina were right next to each other. And Mina pretty much, when they did the test, Mina just helped him write down all the answers, pretty much helped him with the test by telling him where he needed to write for each question in the questions themselves. And yeah, Deku pretty much corrected, I'm going to say, 3 of the questions. No, 5 of the questions. And I'm going to say there's 16 in total. Yeah, 16. Oh yeah, but and they also study as well. But Deku barely needed to study because of perfect memory. So yeah, and when they get to President Mike talking about the robots, and yeah, Mina tried to do a goof, pretty much was a little bit acting a little bit like a goofball, but Deku's like, just stop. You need to listen. It's like, okay, Izuku. And yeah, Ida does his thing, and then he points at, and yeah, he talks about the zero pointers and saying, if this is incorrect, pretty much hitting the paper and going, this is disrespectful for our school. And Deku's like, pretty much in his mind, is this man stupid? Because yeah, and Deku's like, just stands up and goes like, sir, could you? He just pretty much says, sir, could you not tell that he was about to tell us about the zero pointers? And you just interrupted him for that. And to me, that's disrespectful. And the way you speak, that makes me think you're a Tanya. And he is like, He pretty much is like, he knows a lot of Tanya. He pretty much like, he knows my family. Really? It's like, and they're like, now could you please sit down and allow him to continue? And Ida sits down and just then Sugar just says to person like, sorry, you may continue. And it's like, thank you, young man. And Sugar sits down. And Ida's like, it's like, I just made a fool of myself. And yeah, and President Mike talks about the zero pointers. Now we get to the blocks, and Mina is gonna be in Deku's block this time. And I'm just gonna say she's gonna replace that boy with the beam of light that comes from his stomach. She replaces that person for this block. And yeah, when Deku hears someone heartbeat or breathing sound like they're nervous or something, he just walks over there. Oh yeah, and he has his baton on his side. And he walks over there, and Eden tries to stop him, but then Mega was like, watch, see what he's doing first. And Eden's like, but he's like, watch first. She's pretty much gets a serious tone and goes like, watch. And he sees, she goes like, so, he's like, excuse me, excuse me, why are you nervous? He's like, this is school, the most preferential school. It's like, well, yeah, but you shouldn't be nervous. On trying your best to get into the school. You should calm yourself so you can do better. It's like, thank you. It's like, and she was like, Izuku Midoriya. And she was like, thank you, Izuku. It's like, no problem. then he walks back to where Mina is like, is. And it's like, Ito was about to, that boy was about to do something again, wasn't he? It's like, she was like, yeah, I stopped him though. Like, I hold him off a little bit though. It's like, good for you, Mina. Good for you. And then, yeah, when Sugu heard the door start opening, he was like, well, I think that's our cue. And it was like, it's like, you know what I mean? It's like, oh, yeah. And pretty much, yeah, at this point, Izuku is like at the same speed as Ida before he uses his burst. He pretty much runs straight through the doors, and pretty much everyone except Mina are confused. And he was like, "Press up, man, then like go." And it's pretty much like, "What are you doing? There's no countdowns in a battle. Go, go, go!" And yeah, like, oh, fuck. And they pretty much run. And yeah, I'm gonna say this: Aizawa was in that box, and Aizawa was like, this year should be interesting. And yeah, everybody looked at Aizawa with surprise. Because yeah, no one has heard Aizawa say that before. And so I was like, what? And then we get back to Izuku and Mina, and they pretty much get in it, yeah. Throughout the years they've met each other. So he was like, throughout the years he's also taught her martial arts, the ones he knows. So yeah. She's mastered at least 2 of them. So yeah, she won't be using her quirk all the time. And by the time the 0 pointer gets there, he just passed All Might score. So yeah, and Mina gets trapped this time, and because they separated halfway through this test, and when the 0 pointer comes, it's like, and yeah, he's been in Aizawa's scene. He's pretty much been focused on those 2, and after they separated, he saw more moves from the boy. He just pretty much focused on him and saw that he has a baton, and he's like, he pretty much goes like, hey Nazu, could you tell me about that boy right there? And he points directly at him. It's like, I was just like, certainly. And he pulls up pretty much the information they have on him, and it says he's quirkless. And yeah, Aizawa searches all the way through it, and he also finds he's blind. Yeah, and Aizawa smiles. He just smiles because 1, he does not have a quirk and he's still doing the hero test, and 2, he is freaking blind. So yeah, he's pretty much a perfect hero like him. So it's like, and next he's like, oh, what is it, Aizawa? And it's like, he just shows that he pretty much shows the part where he is blind in the papers, and Nazu's like, oh, yeah, that should be interesting. And yeah, the teachers, pretty much everyone in there is like, pretty much are like, what? Yeah. Nazu is saying that after seeing a paper hasn't pretty much never said that before. Pretty much about any student hasn't said that before, as far as they know. Which I'm gonna say that it hasn't. No, Deku's passed All Might's score for villain points in this test. And yeah, now we get to when 0 Pointer comes, and yeah, Mina just while she was taking out robots. Oh, and she got she got past Bakio's points in this. So yeah, and yeah, then she pretty much got trapped under rubble. And since she couldn't use her brute strength to lift it up, and she couldn't use the acid or she would burn herself, she pretty much was stuck under there. And then the 0 Pointer was set. Actually, there's when he heard a rumble, pretty much a stomp, a huge stomp. It's like, oh fuck, that must be a 0 Pointer. And he heard Mina just pretty much hear Mina go like, Izuku, and he heard it and went like, the fuck, and he pretty much sprinted to where Mina was. And he was going full speed. So yeah, he'll get there in about, I'm gonna say 10 seconds. In his full speed going, pretty much him going as fast as possible for him is basically Ida's irreversible burst. So yeah, and Deku just pretty much threw the rubble off her, and pretty much goes like, Mina, are you okay? It's like, yeah, I just got sprained ankle. It's like, grab into my back. It's like, okay. And she was holding on to him, and he held on to her legs and goes like, hold on. And he pretty much ran to as far as possible from the 0 Pointer. He pretty much slid and stopped and pretty much put Mina down. It's like, Mina, are you okay? He's like, yeah, I'm fine. Just I was sprained ankle for a little bit. And then after a little bit, a minute or two, they got 2 more robots were 3 Pointers. And yeah, since Deku got that, he got the same amount of hero points as an original. Well, a little bit more because he just, well, I'm gonna say he got 80 rescue points. Or no, 90 because 1, he saved Mina, and 2, he didn't destroy any buildings to do it. So yeah, he got 90 rescue points. So yeah, and I'm gonna say All Might got 150 hero points. No, 180 points for that test. And Izuku got, in total he has, for his balance points he has 160. No, 190. And for the hero points, 90 points. So yeah, he's gonna have a lot. Actually, yeah, he would have 208 points. Yeah, that's how much points he would have in total. And yeah, and then after a few minutes, the test was over. And his shoe was like, and then he like, okay, Mina? It's like, yeah. And then he just puts her up right outside and like, this might be weird, but I'm gonna hold you like this. And she's like, she was embarrassed. And he pretty much rushed her towards the nurse's office in the UA and pretty much saw her dad on one of the beds and pretty much sit right next to her and goes like, and pretty much pretty much recovery girl was like, just asked what happened to her, and it's like, she got caught under the rubble and she got hurt and sprained her ankle, and yeah, she does this thing on her and asks if he's alright. And he's like, I'm perfectly fine. So yeah, and yeah. Then we skip weeks later, and me and both, and when he gets his, and when Izuku gets his envelope, Inko's like, Izuku, it's like, yes, mother. It's like, you got your envelope from UA. It's like, oh, really? And they both sit in the living room, and Izuku's like, could you do the honors, Mom? And it's like, of course. And then she opens the envelope, and she sees a disc. And she goes like, what is it? It's like, I think it's a disc. And she just picks it up and puts it on the floor, on the table. And pretty much it says that he got the highest score in history and got first place. And she was like, oh, that's cool. And we get to Mina's perspective, and she pretty much gets the same thing, but it tells her that she's in second place. And she's like, cool. And Deku just pretty much calls Mina and goes like, after a few minutes, just calls Mina and goes like, hey Mina, what did you get? And it's like, I got second place, how about you? I got first. And it's like, cool. So, and Deku's like, since we got first and second, I'm guessing we're gonna be in 1A. It's like, yeah, that's gonna be fun. He's like yeah. I'm wondering who the teacher's gonna be. It's like, me too. She was like, just thinking in his mind, it would be cool if it was Eraserhead. Now we skip to the first day of 1A of school. Anyway, when they get to UA, they're hours early. Like, enough hours for them to get a whole tour of the UA district. So yeah, when they get there, I saw in pretty much when they get there, there's no pretty much walking to the school. Pretty much, Mina helps Sugu find the principal office. And they get to that room, and Sugu just knocks on the door. And Netsu's like, come in. And yeah, Netsu and Aizawa are there. It's just Aizawa's asleep in his room, in the classroom. And then Sugu and Mina come in. And yeah, Netsu figured out that Sugu is the first got 100 and pretty much got the best score out of everyone for the written test. And Principal Netsu goes like, and she was like, principal? Probably she bows a little bit and goes like, principal. And Netsu's like, so you must be Izuku, Midoriya, and Mina. So, yeah. And she was like, Netsu, could I ask you a question? It's like, of course, what is it? It's like, could you give me a tour of the UA district? And then she's like, of course. And then hours later, they finished the UA district and pretty much finished the tour. And pretty much ends with Nancy telling him where, pretty much showing him where 1A is. And so he's like, thank you. And it's like, before he goes in, it's like, Natsu. It's like, yes. Midoriya. It's like, Who is the teacher of this classroom? And he's like, that would be Aizawa Shoto Aizawa, Eraserhead. And he just sees pretty much just pretty much fanboy. Pretty much as soon as he said Eraserhead, he just sees fanboy mode activated in Izuku. Well, pretty much Izuku just pretty much looks very calm. But inside he's just pretty much jumping around in his mind. He's like, Izuku's like, thank you, nephew. It's like, no problem. And then both of them walk in and sit down right next to each other. And yeah, Izuku pretty much heard Aizawa sleeping calmly. And Izuku's like, oh, there he is. And he was like, oh, he's in here? I was like, yeah. I think we should be quiet though. He's like, yeah. Feeling a little bit tired. I might go to sleep for a little bit. He's like, okay. It's like, just wake me up when everyone else gets here. I was like, sure, Izuku. And now we skip to when most of the people get there, and Mina taps on Izuku's shoulder and goes like, well, Izuku is like, He pretty much touches his head a little bit and shakes it and goes like, When Iris pretty much saw Izuku just wake up, he pretty much did that thing that he does and goes like, it's disrespectful to sleep in the classroom. Izuku's like, is there any rules that tell someone you can't sleep in it before class starts? And Ida's like, no, but exactly. So if it ain't part of the rules, I shouldn't be worried about it. Now, Izuku's like, now if I'm right, certainly someone should come through that door. 5, 4, 3, 2. Right after he said 1, Mario just pretty much shows his thing through there and puts his feet on his desk, and he was like, how do you know? It's like, and then he just taps one of his ears and goes like, did you forget? And it's like, oh yeah. And Ida just says it's disrespectful to put your feet on the table, on the desk. And he just pretty much Mario does his thing. And then Zuko's like, And he starts hearing Aizawa waking up, and you're like, well, this class is gonna have a bad time. And Mina's like, what do you mean? It's like, Eris just looks directly at Aizawa's spot, and Mina can see where he's looking. Well, actually, no. So you can just point one of his fingers towards Aizawa, and she's like, oh. It's like, yeah, let's shut up right now. And they shut up, and then 4 seconds later, Aizawa wakes up, and they're like, it took you all 8 seconds to shut up. Except those two. And they all look at, and yeah, pretty much, Aizawa talked about pretty much told them to put these outfits on, meet him out in the training field. And Izuku and Mina Izuku's like, and Mina just looks at Izuku and he nods and stands up. And yeah, Izuku has scars. He does. they're long scars that go there's some scars on his arms, his chest, one on his back. And it was the one time Mina accidentally used his quirk on, pretty much accidentally put some of her quirk, a very weak acid on Izuku's back. It was one accidental point. And that was when she barely knew how to use a quirk correctly. So yeah, and pretty much everyone that was just complaining were complaining. And Aizawa saw that those two didn't even complain, they just did it. And Aizawa was like, you guys should be more like them. And Baga was like, and yeah, Deku and Mina get into the locker rooms, and pretty much when Deku takes off his shirt, when everybody gets in there, Deku takes off his shirt, and they see first they see the scar on his back, which looks like a splat mark, and Kirishima goes like, whoa, and then Kirishima looks at Deku's arms, and he sees scars on them. There's 6 scars on each arm. Because throughout the years, he's either trained in the woods for hunting or has on his chest. It looks like he has 3 pretty much has a claw mark on his chest. So Kiji was like, whoa, where did you get those scars? Just pretty much walks out to him and goes like, where did you get those scars? So he just points to his bag and goes like, that went from an accident with a friend's quirk. He points at his chest. This one from I think a bear. And the rest from I think rocks. And the ones on his arms are rocks, pretty much were caused by sharp rocks or stones. And she was like, whoa, yeah. And then he puts the outfit on and walks out. Not the outfit, his hero outfit, just that outfit that Aizawa wants him to wear. And before he does that, he sees Mineta trying to look through that hole. And he's like, he pretty much takes out his baton and pretty much throws the baton straight at Mineta. And it hits him in the head. And it comes back to, pretty much bounces back to him. And he grabs it and puts it back. It's like, and all the girls turned pretty much from the other side of the wall. So and I was like, oh, I know exactly who that was. And you do? It's like, yeah, that was Izuku. It's like, who's that again? It's like, black hair, dark green eyes. It's like, oh, I don't know that. Yeah. And Sugu just pretty much checks through the wall. Could you, it's like, yeah, I'll do it. And she pretty much uses her quirk on the wall, and it pretty much seals it. It's like, he says, just pretty much, then he just walks out. And I'm like, Okay, it's not like hers. And when he walks out there, Mina's right beside him. Pretty much walks out right after him. And she's like, ah. If that idiot's coming in this school, he's gonna get killed. He's gonna get hurt or worse. And he's like, yeah, I see what you mean. And then they get to the spot, and so I was like, hmm? And he sees the marks on Izuku's arms, or the scars on Izuku's arms. Yeah, he's still gonna see him. So I was like, And it's just, then you see, was like, he just pretty much, like, and so I was like, just, and Sue just goes like, says, hello, Aizawa Sensei. And he's like, oh, hello, Midoriya. And it's like, and Aizawa just asked, so, just out of curiosity, he just asked, so who's your favorite hero? And he's like, he's a little bit embarrassed and goes like, you. And so I was like, me? Why? It's like, first, you don't rely on your, you can't rely on your quirk too much, so that's a plus to me. And second off, you use skill alone to take down foes. Also, and I think and I remember seeing you when I think I was 5 or 4. And so it was like, really? It's like, yeah, I was walking with my mother, which is a slim woman with green hair and green eyes. And he pretty much describes his mother to the perfectly. And he pretty much describes that night perfectly. And so it's like, you sure you don't have a quirk? It's like, yeah, I just for some reason have perfect memory. And so I was like, and Sue just says, also, I wasn't technically born with blind. I technically wasn't born blind. And so I was like, oh, like, yeah. Have you heard of an accident of a kid pretty much pushing a man out of the way of chemicals? It's like, of a truck. It's like, oh yeah, that was me. And those chemicals made me blind. And I kind of think that helped me a little bit. It's like, how so? It's like, well, as far as I know, my senses are 100 times better. Except my sight, which I don't think I need that much. It's like, And then, now we skip to when everybody gets there. And yeah, he throws the ball to Suki because, yeah, Baku thought pretty much didn't know who got first and for second place. Suki's like, I thought it says, throw the ball as far as you can. It's like, alright. And he pretty much throws it. And there is a little bit of air pressure. And yeah, All Might hasn't found a successor yet. and it pretty much gets way higher than, like, pretty much higher than Bakugo. And yeah, Bakugo still is gonna have a little bit less. Because he would never, well, he is gonna get the same. He just could never get explosions on Izuku. So yeah. And yeah, everything is the same except when it comes to the grip, Izuku is one of the best in there. For speed, he's tied with Ida. Jump, I'm gonna think that he's gonna be in first place. Side to side, he's second place. And yeah, he's not first place. He's pretty much first place. And yeah, Mina's getting second or third in most of them. And I'm gonna say this: Mineta gets last. And yeah, I'm gonna say this as well. Aizawa meant whoever got last would get expelled. So yeah, and Mineta got expelled. And pretty much she was like, and she was like, that was a smart move on your part, Aizawa. And I was like, pretty much raises his eyebrow and goes like, why is that in the story? I was like, he easily would have been, he could have easily been beaten up or worse, killed. And so I was like, I got a point there. I was like, yeah, because one, he's only good at one thing, or I should say two. And the girl should know what I mean. And I was like, no, yeah, he was a fucking perv. So, I'm not, in my opinion, getting him out of here would cause less drama. And also, like, less, it's like, yeah, let's just say there's one student here I know exactly will cause a lot of drama easily. And yeah. Then Aizawa just was like, could I talk? Then at somewhere close to the end of the day, so I was like, could I talk to you, Midori? I was like, sure. Raise your head. Sure, raise your head. And they pretty much get to a room by themselves and goes like, so, what did you want to ask? That's how I was saying. It's like, well, first, I want to know, how did you make a baton like that? It's like, where did you get a baton like that? I made it myself. It's like, really? He's like, yeah. Since I had perfect memory, I pretty much searched up videos online. He pretty much listed everything he searched up. You know, that was like, And yeah, and that's what I'm gonna end it off. If you like this, like, subscribe, and comment for more. Anyway, peace.